Welcome to the Rising Society podcast. I am Shane Kennedy.
I am Nico Galliano, the rejected gentleman.
All right, Nico, America's back in business.
That's right, America's back, baby.
Dude, the thing is, if you go back and look at the past couple of years worth of podcasts we've done, I would say most of the things that most of the outcomes that we were wishing for in this election have come to pass.
Dude, this is our first podcast in the Trump era.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Well,
and he's
Trump era 2.0.
I was going to say, he's in his second term, so he doesn't have to give a fuck anymore.
That's right.
He can do whatever he wants. Nice. It's going to be interesting.
So, dude, I mean, this is wild. Okay, so what do you think?
Dude, so far, I like, I haven't watched them all. I only watched a couple. The executive orders that he's doing, there's stacks and stacks of them. But we just left the Paris Climate
the Paris Climate Accord.
Yeah, accord. I almost said agreement. And then we left WOW, right?
The World Health Organization.
Yes.
WHO. Yep.
Yeah, WHO. Dude, which is crazy because he he actually made a statement. I guess I just never looked into it. America has, by his calculations, he said America has 350 million people. He goes, but how many of those are illegal? So he goes, let's say 325 million.
I saw that.
And he was like, and we pay, what was it?
$500 million a year.
Is it 500 million?
500 million.
And he's like, China has 1.4 billion people, and they only pay 39 million.
Yeah.
That's fucking
it's ridiculous,
insane.
Isn't it? Yeah.
That's insane. I think that's going to be most of his presidency is, I think we're done footing the bill for a lot of bullshit fat stuff.
Well, and there's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening. Like, the real American empire in terms of what's in our actual self-interest may be truly expanding in terms of Greenland and the Panama Canal. We may be taking that
He said
back.
we're just taking ownership back of the Panama Canal.
Yeah.
He goes, the Panamanians are poor stewards of it, and they just pretty much given it to the Chinese. He goes, we're going to take it back. And I love that he refers to Trudeau as Governor Trudeau. That makes me happy. Because they're just the 51st state, he said.
So this is something that's been kind of on my mind regarding the Panama Canal. I don't want for us to really get locked in here, but a lot of people have been saying, well, as far as the Panama Canal goes, if Panama decides they don't want to give it back, then what are we going to do, right? And so what I've been thinking is we can just overthrow their government, down there. I mean, it's not like America's never done that before. And this is another thing. It's not like overthrowing the Panamanian government is unprecedented because back in 1989, we overthrew Manuel Antonio Noriega, who had he had a military dictatorship in Panama, and we sent Marines down there or whatever, and we overthrew his government in 1989. So the only reason I bring that up is that us going down to Panama and overthrowing their current government and installing some kind of like an American puppet state, it's not unprecedented. It's not like it's never happened before.
Well, I actually have, I guess I have history with that. Because my great-grandfather on my dad's side, so his mother's father, actually spent 2 years in jail before the revolution happened in Cherokee, which is a county down in Panama, because he assassinated the governor there.
Wasn't Panama originally a part of, was it Colombia or Venezuela?
I'm not sure. I know because they did the same thing. This would have been back in the... Was this back in the 60s? No, this would have been back in the
Would this have
40s, 50s.
Are you talking like the 1800s?
No, Jesus Christ, dude. My great-grandfather. This would have been back in the 40s, I believe. No, he shot him in the face. He spent 2 years in jail. And then the new governor pardoned him.
Wow. So this was like during the 1900s. This was in the 20th century.
Yeah, it was the, I want to say county. Don't quote me. I don't know.
This was less than 100 years ago. Then.
Yeah, this was in the county of Cherokee down in Panama.
Wow.
Yeah, they were tyrannical. They were like really like messing with the people. They were taking property away. They were taxing them. They were imprisoning like family members that didn't like go along with the government. Yeah, he shot him in the face.
Well, so just an interesting backstory about Panama is, the whole reason that Panama exists is because the United States intervened in that region in the late 1800s.
Correct.
Wait.
Yep.
Was it late 1800s or it was the early 20th century? I don't remember which one it was.
It was the late 1800s.
But originally, it was a part of Colombia.
It was Colombia?
Was it Colombia? Here.
It's Colombia. It's got to be Colombia.
Here. Map of South America. Okay, it was Colombia.
Colombia, yep.
Yeah, it was originally part of Colombia, and whenever the United States was interested in building a canal through Panama, the Colombian government basically, they shot us a middle finger, and then we were like, come on, please, maybe we can incentivize this for you, and then they shot us a second middle finger. Then we were like, okay, all right, so we're just going to overthrow them, and then that kind of began like a long story tradition of the United States government overthrowing foreign governments, and so we overthrew them, and we actually kind of created Panama. So really, Panama as a country, how we look back at the founding of America, we look back at like George Washington and the founding fathers as being like the founding class of America. Well, the founding class of Panama is America, is the United States.
Well, that's where my grandmother was born, right? Because the Italians, they didn't come to, the Franceses went there to expand holdings, and I want to say, don't quote me, I think it was cattle. I'm not, but the Segels on the German side, he was supposed to come to America, and he went to Panama, and that's where they got married. And I know because my dad was born there. My dad was born in Panama.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I thought he was born here.
No, born in Panama. And they use our dollar down there, like a lot. Like it's not uncommon to use American dollar. They have their own money as well. And it's a huge banking institutions down there for a lot of the region and trade and all that stuff. Yeah, dude, they most of them speak English, like, well, not most of them, but in the bigger cities, in a lot of those jobs, they speak English. It's not uncommon at all. Yeah, big time. Panamanian is big. It is America's child. Like, that whole region is because no one would even talk about fucking Panama if it wasn't for America.
Do you think so? All right, here. What do you think the timetable is going to look like for us to take back the Panama Canal?
24 months.
Okay.
Less.
So 2 years.
Less.
I can agree with that.
Less 2 years. We'll have control of the Panama Canal.
Okay. Now, what do you think about Greenland?
Not in the way you think.
Well, I don't know what you mean by that.
Because who's the overlords of
Denmark.
Greenland? Denmark, right? So Denmark's not about it at all. But the little, I want to say governor of Denmark, but I don't know what his actual title is. The little fucking proxy guy. He has a podium, and I think there's only don't quote me. I think there's less than 60,000 people in Greenland.
Oh yeah, it's tiny.
Like it's fucking minuscule. Well, the little guy that stands at his podium and his office is also his house.
56,000 people.
56,000. Okay, so I was right at his office is also his house. And he has he has 4 jobs, and one of them's being like the representative of Greenland to deal with Denmark. He told them, he was like, shut the fuck up, Denmark. We want people to come invest in Greenland. I have to do what's best for Greenland. Yeah, it's all great in Denmark. He goes, it sucks over here. Because it blows. We want money from other countries.
And that's right.
And I don't think we're just going to boots on the ground and be like, ha ha, you're ours, bitch. I think we're going to go in through economical strength and have a relationship with Greenland. And I think Trump's going to have a lot of American influence in Greenland.
Well, and this is another thing that a lot of people don't know about Greenland is Greenland, I don't know, it might have been 10 years ago, maybe it was 15 years ago, somewhere in there. They wanted to join the European Union. Greenland did. And the whole reason they wanted to join was they figured, well, our parent country is Denmark. They're a part of the European Union. And if we join the European Union, then that means that we would get a lot of investment in our country to build out infrastructure and stuff, roads and public transportation, and we would get like tourism, and we would get a lot of investment and stuff from Europe.
Tourism? Who the fuck is traveling to Greenland?
Well, if you want to go see snow, but the thing is, you could always go to Iceland instead if you're coming from Europe. But the thing is, the European Union voted it down. The European Union were like, we have no interest in that shit.
Exactly.
And so the thing is, remember that a lot of Europeans, they really don't have much of an imagination as far as that kind of stuff goes, and I don't really think they have the resources to be able to go and take a place like Greenland and bring it to the forefront of economic development. You know, I don't think the Europeans have got it. Like,
but the Americans can.
Exactly, and that's the thing. We are energy dominant. The United States is, just like the Russians are. The Russians are energy dominant. You know, and in the world that we're living in today, being energy dominant translates into being geopolitically dominant, you know? So, and the thing is, the Europeans, especially since we blew up the Nord Stream pipelines, and it wouldn't surprise me if we'll probably blow up more pipelines and stuff that run from Russia over land, like through Ukraine into Eastern Europe. You know, by the time this whole Ukraine conflict is done, we'll probably end up blowing up a lot more of those, and further cut off Russia's ability, or further sever the energy ties between Russia and the European Union countries. And we're going to continue to kind of tighten the umbilical cord between Europe and the United States as far as their necessity in purchasing energy from us rather than the Russians, where they're going to have to purchase lots of oil. They're going to pay a lot more for it from us because we have to send it over a ship across the Atlantic to them. And then also the LNG, liquefied natural gas, you know, and you know, it's always a lot cheaper to send natural gas and petroleum via pipeline versus ship it via rail or ship it via ship, you know? So the thing is, as that continues to happen, the cost of energy that Europeans pay, it's going to continue to increase. And that's going to end up, especially, Germany as an economy is bleeding right now.
They're massively.
And guess where a lot of their manufacturing is relocating to? To the United States. A lot of there's a big glass manufacturer in Germany. I forget what the name of it was, but they've relocated. I think they've relocated all or most of their manufacturing facilities to Texas.
Texas is going to be a fucking boom state over the next 20 years.
Huge.
I honestly think Texas might become the number one economy in the United States.
Well, it's going to be Texas, and then Florida's going to be right behind them too.
Yep.
You know, but Texas is probably where things are going to get done.
Yes.
You know, things are going to be made there. It's going to be very much like what California used to be.
Well, yeah, California is losing companies left and fucking right.
Yes.
People are getting the fuck out of California, dude.
Yeah.
They're getting out of there.
And you know, the sad thing about California is, objectively, it's such a beautiful place.
I think it's the most beautiful state in the nation.
I agree with you, man. It's a beautiful
that
place.
I've been to, and I've been to 26 or 7 states.
Well, and that's where you were born originally.
I was born
California.
in California. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's so beautiful and it's so diverse. It's actually like you could probably break it into like 3 different states.
Yeah, like you've got like snow-capped mountains that are like an hour or two drive to the beautiful beaches, right?
And then you have desert over here.
Yeah.
Like you have wine country. You have the redwood forest. It's great. Then you go and you have like Mexico down south. It's just more Mexico.
Tijuana.
Yeah, dude, it's wild. But yeah, back to the Greenland thing. I think he is going to do a lot of. There's going to be a lot of American investment in Greenland.
Yeah,
and I think by default they're going to become kind of another holding of America, if you will.
Well, and you know, the thing is, it makes sense from the American point of view to take Greenland on as, if you want to call it a holding, or you want to call it a territory, or you want to call it a collaboration, whatever word we want to use to describe it. Yeah. You know, just whatever word makes you feel good, that's what you can call it. But it makes a lot of sense for the United States because Greenland has a lot of the rare earth metals, or it's estimated that they've got loads of rare earth metals in the ground there. So the thing is, that's something that the United States, that's one of the few resources that we're not devoid of in America, but that we don't have a real abundance of here.
Yeah, we're lacking them a little bit.
But if we end up acquiring Greenland, acquiring the relationship or collaboration or territory agreement, whatever you want to call it,
they become our mistress.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. That may be a really good way of putting it. The minute that happens, that means that in the American pool of available resources, we or added to the American catalog are rare earth metals.
And I do think that Mexico and Canada will come to heel in the next 4 years.
Yeah.
They've benefited by being our neighbors massively. Especially Mexico and Canada. No one talks about Canada. We always like shit on Mexico about how just because they're so lucky to border America for all the, all the ROI they get just by location. No one talks about Canada's ROI. Everyone's like, well, we need Canada. Stop. Would it be inconvenient if Canada cut off everything tomorrow? Yes. It would be inconvenient. It would sting. It would be uncomfortable if we didn't get the resources that we get from Canada.
Like the maple syrup.
Correct. No, in all sincerity, a lot of stuff, right? It would be very uncomfortable. It would destroy fucking Canada if we did that. It wouldn't be uncomfortable. They would collapse.
Yeah.
That will always be the difference. So don't pull your dick out because you're going to lose this one. Don't bring out the measuring tape. Canada, I think they will come to heel.
Oh, they will.
100% they will. Don't do the start flexing and being like, oh, we don't need you guys. It, like I said, it would be uncomfortable and Trump will get a lot of blame and it will suck and it might not be pleasant, but we'll be fine. Canada will fucking collapse without us.
The one that really seems kind of that really seems like she wants to push back is the president of Mexico, Scheinbaum. That's the president of Mexico's last name is
Scheinbaum.
Scheinbaum. Yeah. It sounds like a German last name.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what the fuck?
Yeah,
dude. The greatest thing that's gonna happen, we haven't even broached this yet, and I mean this with all sincerity because I think it's a gesture. Oh my god, I can't even talk. A gesture.
You're talking about yourself right now.
No, not a fucking clown.
You're a jester.
No, and you're a clown.
Well, you know what?
So I have a place of honor in the court. You just do it for amusement. Okay, so yes, a jester. I can't fucking talk.
A gesture.
Thank you.
Gesture.
Holy shit, I need to cut back on these today, huh? I really do because it gives the semblance that we're finally, for the first time, on a world stage, even as Americans, if you look at Gen Z and a lot of millennials especially, it's almost been like shameful to be an American, right? Mm-hmm. You're supposed to feel shame being American. And for the first time in a long time, on the world stage especially, we're starting to make declarations of, wait. Don't stand on our shoulders and then spit on our head. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Let's cut that shit out. The fact that he's going to call it the Gulf of America, dude, I don't know why. I think that might be one of the biggest wins ever. First of all, it doesn't make any sense that it's called the Gulf of Mexico. 0 sense. 2, we put the most financial resources in the Gulf of Mexico. If we call that the Gulf of America, I think it's the biggest flex, especially in the Western Hemisphere, where we tell people, Daddy's back, baby. Mm-hmm. And things are going to change. You guys all benefit from us, and you shit on us. Well, you know what? Everyone's going to start falling in fucking line because we're back. And everyone's like, well, you guys can't do that. You guys can't be suppressive in a fucking, an empire and do all this stuff. Yes, we can.
Well, and you know what's so funny
Yes, we can.
And you want to know what's so funny is the people that are telling us we're not allowed to be an empire are the same ones that were telling us that we were a couple of clowns because we supported Ron Paul for all these years.
Yeah.
You know, and they're sitting there saying, "Oh no, Ron Paul's an isolationist. No, you're an isolationist.
You're an isolationist.
Yeah, you're an isolationist.
You're trying to cut up from the world.
Yeah,
you don't want to help people.
Yeah,
you don't want to help people.
Yeah, and guess what? Yes. We are going to help people.
Uh-huh.
We're going to be helping people by fixing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to something that makes sense.
Dude, for the first time in a long time, we kept telling all these countries, take your medicine, take your medicine, take your medicine. You're sick, you're sick, you're sick. Now we're going to make them take their medicine.
That's right.
We're going to be like, it's like little kids. We're not, oh, here comes the plane. Here comes the plane. Now we're just going to be like, take your fucking medicine. It's going in their mouth.
Yep.
And they're going to take it. And we're going to start hearing the world, especially the western part of the world.
Well, and you know, this is the thing. I mean, this is an entire geopolitical, and you know, really, Donald Trump represents a shift in geopolitical relations around the world because, you know, our entire lifetimes growing up, you know, post the fall of the Soviet Union, you know, you have what people would call the unipolar moment where America was the only remaining superpower on the planet during the 90s and the 2000s. And what we did was we pushed globalization where we basically said that the whole world is just going to be this big massive interconnected network of free trade, of countries freely trading with one another and everything, but that the U.S. would still be allowed to just go and like blow up whoever they want, you know, like Serbia during the 90s and Libya in 2009 and Iraq and Afghanistan and all these other places. That America would just kind of selectively just go around the world and just do police actions, do whatever they want. You know, basically the elite class of our country would just go around the world and just make trouble and try to siphon resources here and there and everything, this cloak and dagger thing, and they would try to act like they were doing good, but they're just making money off of the whole thing. Anyway, now that whole system's breaking down. You know, when you would say globalization in the 90s or early 2000s, it would connotate a very positive imagery in people's minds. People would be, oh, globalization means peace and free trade and all this stuff. Now when you say globalization, people are like, oh, that makes me feel like when I have a cut that got infected. You know? So now everything is moving toward a world that's actually kind of like the norm in human history where the world is kind of broken into different poles of power,
regional powers.
Exactly.
And that's what thank you.
Yep.
The Western Hemisphere,
the multipolar world,
our section of the world will now be dominated by America, and we will make the rules.
But let's be honest, it's always been dominated by America.
It has, but it's going to. We're not going to.
It's going to be explicit.
Yeah, we're not going to pussyfoot. It's not going to be hidden. It's not going to be cloak and dagger. It's going to be. This is what we expect. This is the way we do it. And you know what? I think you cut through the bullshit, and it's more direct. And we're like, hey, fuck it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know how else to say that. I think it's the best way to phrase that. Fuck it.
Well, and you know, the thing is, you have examples all over the world, like the Chinese wanting to expand out into these different island chains and eventually to possibly do their thing with Taiwan, which would be a big mess, you know. But you know, they're trying to expand their regional influence. The Russians are trying to solidify and expand their regional influence. The Europeans are just a bunch of babies,
just a bunch of pussies.
So really, as far as Europe goes, it's going to be a question of who is daddy going to be? Is it going to be Russia or is it going to be America? That's really what it comes down to. It's a question for the Europeans.
It's not even a question.
Right, yeah.
They're going to bitch and moan about it, but they're coming home.
Right, and who cries? Babies.
They're coming home.
Yep.
They're going to bitch about it. They're like the teenage kid, right? They're like, oh, fuck, I hate all these rules. I hate, fuck you, I can't wait to move out. And then they go and they go out in the world and they got their abusive fucking boyfriend, Russia, right? That just shits all over them. They're coming home. They're going to come live with us. They're going to go to college. They're going to flunk out. And then they're going to come live at home at 22.
Well, and you know what's interesting? And this is kind of not related. This is related in the sense that when we overthrew Gaddafi in Libya, a lot of people when that happened, a lot of people were, and remember Hillary Clinton when NATO overthrew him. Remember Hillary Clinton very famously said, "We came, we saw, he died." Yeah, when she cackled like a witch. The chief crime that Gaddafi committed, because remember, when we rolled into Iraq, justifying it by saying that Saddam had weapons of mass destruction, Gaddafi looked at that and was like, F this. So Gaddafi was like, you guys come on in, take my weapons of mass destruction. I'm not pursuing nuclear weapons anymore. I just want to stay alive. So he did. But the thing that Gaddafi was working toward was strengthening what's called the African Union. And the whole goal of the African Union was to create like a European Union type of regional free trading system for the continent of Africa, where instead of Africa kind of being beholden to foreign powers,
like it always has been.
That Africa would be able to basically determine its own future and own its and take its profits and reinvest it into making the continent stronger,
back into Africa.
Stronger, invested into infrastructure and basically make the continent a better place to live. And Gaddafi was a huge cheerleader for that. Gaddafi was he basically set himself up as the model he set Libya up as the model for what to do, because long story short, when Gaddafi came into power, Libya was a net food importer. When he died, Libya was a net food exporter. And then when we overthrew him, Libya is now net food importer, and it's also one of the largest slave markets on the planet. But the thing is, that's the reason that we overthrew him, is because he was a threat to European hegemony over Europe. Because the way the United States is towards Central America and South America is the same way that Europe is toward Africa, especially the French. And
the fucking French.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, the Prime Minister of Italy, Meloni, she has brought that up to Emmanuel Macron before. And she has said to Macron, look, this is not right what you guys, the French, do to Africa. And Meloni's like, look, you guys would never allow us to do that. And Italy's closer to Africa than France is.
Correct.
And Macron is just horrified whenever she brings that up. But the thing is, leaders like Meloni very intelligent leaders like Giorgia Meloni and the guy from Hungary of Viktor Orban. These are the European leaders that kind of see the future in terms of globalization is out, and what the future of Europe is going to be determining how does Europe become self-sufficient, and how does Europe become a regional power that's not dominated by either the Russians or the Americans, which I don't see that as being a possibility for the future of Europe, especially since we blew up their pipelines.
It's gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out, brother.
Yeah, and this is another beautiful thing, is us having President Trump now. He's going to be looking out for America to get the best deal in
America's
terms of
interest first.
Yep, in terms of
how
Europeans.
It always should be. We're fucking Americans.
Well, and this is the thing. We pay most of the bills for NATO. The whole Article 5 NATO guarantee that if a NATO member country gets invaded, then all the NATO countries will band together to defend that country. What the NATO Article 5 guarantee really means is if you get attacked, that means that Big Daddy, that means that America is going to roll in and save your ass.
That's all that means.
Yep.
And same fucking thing for Canada. We're the majority of Canada's fucking defense.
Yes,
that's all us.
And this is the thing. You and I both do not like the size of our country's defense budget.
No.
It's unproductive. those resources that get pissed away into our defense budget, a lot of that, there's a lot of waste in there to begin with, but then even the stuff that isn't waste, or even the stuff that's not waste and fraud, it's diverting vast amounts of things like concrete and steel and metal and everything into unproductive means, like building out big military bases and building out big ass aircraft carriers, which the aircraft carrier is an outdated piece of military equipment. The aircraft carrier was cutting edge at the time of World War II. It's not cutting edge anymore because a missile can take out an entire aircraft carrier today. If we were to try to send a whole bunch of aircraft carriers across the Pacific Ocean, which maybe we ought to rename as the Western American Ocean,
I think so too.
Just a suggestion. But if we were to send big ass aircraft carriers to go and bail out Taiwan, if the Chinese make a move on it, do we really think the Chinese are going to be watching their little radar and they're going to be like, oh no, this aircraft carrier is coming to us and there's nothing we can do. The Chinese are going to be firing a bunch of missiles at it.
Well, they might just send their 20,000 boats.
Well, they do. The Chinese have, I think it's the world's largest navy today.
Well, we would too if we counted every bass boat.
Yeah, that's true. But this is the thing is the Chinese navy is really more akin and better described as being like a massive coast guard, because the Chinese know that it's not a question of their ability to project naval power to the other side of the world. It's that they know that the U.S. is going to be projecting our naval power against their coastline. So they have to have a big ass advanced coast guard. You know, it's kind of like you can think about it kind of like Risk. When you're the defender, you have the advantage, so you don't have to allocate as many resources into being the defender as the attacker does.
Yeah, but maybe not. But they know, dude. It's no question around the world, and like you said, you and I disagree with it. But our military is unmatched.
It is. But, this is something I don't think a lot of people understand, is that we have the most expensive military in the world.
Correct.
That doesn't necessarily mean that we have the best military in the world in all spheres of it. And I know that's something that makes people feel very uncomfortable. I know that makes a lot of fellow patriotic Americans feel very uncomfortable, but I think the best way forward and the best way to do better is to deal in truth and facts, and that's the thing is that's something where I certainly hope over the next 4 years, the new administration will do like an audit of the U.S. military and determine, okay, what are the things that really are superior that we're doing, and also too at the same time, where's all the waste? Where's all the fraud?
Oh, he's gonna cut so much fat.
Yeah,
dude. So much fat's gonna be
looking
cut.
forward to Doge.
Doge. What about Doge? What about it?
Well, the Department of Government Efficiency, I think it's going to. Well, first of all, Elon Musk has the equivalent of like a mental superpower. That guy is going to be able to roll in, look at a bunch of spreadsheets, figure out where the waste is and fraud is and stuff, and hopefully he'll be able to make suggestions of where to cut and how much.
Oh, you mean oh shit, what did they call Hitler? I can't remember. Are we allowed to say his name? Let's call him H.
Okay.
H, what did they call him? Why can't I remember the name? Dude, I've had too much. What was his title when they talked to him?
Presidente?
No.
No.
President. Presidente.
No.
Could you see Germans?
Führer, right?
Führer. Thank you. Yeah, Presidente H.
Yeah.
Who the fuck's talking to him, dude? Those are the Spanish. I can't even say the other word.
They're wearing a poncho, and they're wearing a sombrero and stuff.
With the S's on it.
Yeah.
Presidente H. There's Jews. No. Fuck. I don't remember what my point was. Führer. Oh, Führer. You mean Führer? I can't say the word now. Fjord Musk, actually, is
Yeah.
what you're referring to.
Oh yes, yeah, because of the gesture that he made today.
The double gesture,
Yeah.
2 different directions. My heart goes out to you. I was like, holy shit, dude.
Well, the sad thing here for people on the left and for liberals, and you and I both have a lot of friends that would fall into into those categories.
I have friends on both sides.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
I'm a friendly guy.
But the sad thing for them is that they've already spent so much time and effort calling everything under the sun racist,
fascist, that it just doesn't have any validity anymore.
The new H that they've been calling stuff. They've been calling Trump the new H. They've been pointing at everything.
Oh, you mean Presidente Trump?
Yeah. Presidente.
Presidente Trump.
And so the thing is now whenever they point out things and they're trying to say, well, no, that's really fascist. No, that's really racist. People look at them and they're like, I don't believe you because you were just calling my grandma
Yeah.
a fascist, racist, Soviet. Yeah, you're.
In all sincerity, back to your original point, I do agree with you. That one was on record. That one was weird. But I will say this: you said Doge. I actually think XRP is probably going to play a bigger role in the next 10 years than we think.
You want me to be honest? So here, you want me to be honest with you about what my thoughts on Elon Musk are? Mm-hmm. This is just my read on him, and you can have a read on someone, and it can be totally wrong, or it could be a read just based on like partial information you have about them. But when I look at Elon Musk and kind of take into totality the things I know about him, like interviews I've seen him do and everything, I think, and knowing that he had a really, really bad relationship with his father, and knowing how, after he started SpaceX and Tesla and everything, he ended up receiving some kind of criticism from Buzz Aldrin, I think, and maybe it wasn't Buzz Aldrin, but it was some of the some astronauts. Mm-hmm. And if you know anything about Elon Musk, his heroes have always been astronauts. Mm-hmm. And I remember I think it was Leslie Stahl that was interviewing Musk. I could be wrong, but she brought up to him, well, do you remember how these astronauts called you a shithead? I don't think she said that exactly. Mm-hmm. But Elon Musk in the interview, he started crying, and so I think Elon Musk is someone, I think he really responds to very, very strong fatherly men,
masculine men.
Yes. Cause
he's not a very masculine guy himself.
Right. Well, and I think that,
which is funny cause he's a big fucker too, isn't he?
He is. Yeah. But for him, I think that's one of the reasons that he has become so attached to Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. It is because, Donald Trump accepts him and has accepted him kind of into his inner circle and everything like that. And people all talk about how, well, Musk is a billionaire and is courting Trump for his own interests. And I'm sure there's some of that going on. There's no doubt. But I actually think a bigger part of it is that Musk sees in Trump something that's really not monetary or really not even tangible. I think it's that he sees daddy in Trump.
You and I called this 1.5 years ago when we first started this podcast, 2 years ago, whatever. Mm-hmm. We said it and no one believed us because this is kind of like Musk was tweeting a bunch of shit and everyone's like, remember he used to be like the liberal, like Jesus? He was that statue in Brazil.
Yes.
And all the liberals were just knobbering on him, dude. And then all of a sudden they're like, he started posting some weird shit. He starts doing stuff. And all the liberals are like, oh, fuck Musk. We don't like him anymore. This is weird, right? Because every liberal I knew, they're like, I have shares in Tesla.
They tried to call him a racist. Remember that?
Yeah. So they started backing off him. And you and I called it 2 years ago. We started saying, we're like, this happens in cycles, and you'll see it when a rogue oligarch comes around, right? And it's rare because there's not that many oligarchs out there. There's not that many people that have $1 billion and in control in certain spheres or over certain industries, or are these next wave of thinkers, like what Ford became, or what the tyrants of industry became. So your Rockefellers, your Carnegies, your Vanderbilts, right? These guys. Well, when you get a rogue oligarch and he comes out and he's like, everyone's kind of going in the same direction. They might bicker, they might fight, they might try to like take each other. He literally stopped, broke, and went against the grain of all the rest of them. And he's like, no, fuck it. And you and I said that's rare. And when you see it happen, unpredictability comes. And we said the next 2 years is going to be very interesting to see what he does. And I think he has solidified himself, like you said. He has found someone that accepts him, quirky as he is, weird as he is, all this weird shit. Like he wants to put chips in people, which you and I would never agree with. But he goes into these thoughts in the way he thinks, and he realizes that he doesn't have to, like he hasn't even addressed his gesture, misconstrued or not, right? Hasn't even addressed it. Or did he come out and finally address it? I don't remember.
Address what?
His double gesture he just did.
Oh, he hasn't. I don't think he's addressed it yet.
So he doesn't, because dude, he's finally figured out it doesn't matter what the other side thinks. So he has finally become very dangerous, but he's become that because, like you said, he always has these abilities, but he's found a strong masculine male to attach himself to that he feels secure with and he looks up to. And I promise you, he's going to play a bigger role in the next 4 years than people think.
Yes.
A much bigger role. But I do think it's going to be XRP. I don't think it's going to be Doge.
Well, yeah.
I think Doge might be like the X wallet currency. Maybe.
Yeah. You're referring to the cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
to Doge. Yeah. No. Well. The thing is. So I'm not a huge crypto guy. I'm not a crypto guy. For the record, I've never owned crypto. I'm pissed off that I haven't.
I've made a fortune in it.
Yeah, but the thing is, at the end of the day, I'm still very skeptical of the whole crypto thing. And there is, I'll be honest, there's a little bit of resentment in here that I did not get into crypto when I was told to. You and several other people I'm not going to name, told me years ago to get into XRP and to get in and to get into, and also to even at certain points to get into Doge for like a short-term trade.
Different ones at certain points. For XRP, when you guys were fucking clowning me and said everyone was saying, "Oh, you're an idiot. That was just the last boom." And I said, "No, there's real application here." I said, "Now, technically, it's anti-crypto on what they're trying to do. It's the complete opposite of crypto's goals." I said, "But XRP actually has a real application." And everyone's like, "You're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot." And I'm like, well, I mean, it's been around for a while, since 2013, I want to say. And I said, and it's the 13th, at the time it was the 13th or 17th biggest cryptocurrency in the world out of thousands, right?
What is it now?
Number 3.
Wow.
Third biggest cryptocurrency in the world, trading volume-wise. It's not far off. I think it's about 30 billion daily trade away from overtaking Ethereum, which I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but it will happen. In its application, I was telling people to get back in it at 52 cents. And I thought I caught it late. And I said that I can see by the end of 2025 it being at $5. And everyone's like, "You're an idiot. And we're never going to listen to you." And I was like, "Okay, that's cool." Well, it's at $3.42. I think it might drop today. It might be at like $3.20.
Damn.
So it already hit its all-time high again. And I don't see it stopping. I do think there's going to be a lot of implications for XRP because, like I said, I think the banking industries are going to adopt it. I think you're going to see a lot of big institutions. I think this is what they're actually going to use. I think the banking industries are going to use XRP.
Well, and I didn't have a chance to really read much into it today, but apparently Trump made an announcement. I think,
with his coin?
Yeah, well, not just about his coin, but I think he made a big crypto announcement today. And today was January the 21st, Tuesday. I think he made some announcement today about it was very positive regarding crypto in general.
Well, he's going to try to not tax American-based cryptocurrencies.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what it was.
I don't think he announced that yet.
Okay.
I don't think that's solidified. So I don't know what he announced today.
Yeah.
But I know that's on the docket. He wants to not tax American-based cryptos,
Okay.
which sucks because I sold a large portion in December. So thanks, Trump.
Oh, well, maybe he'll make it retroactive.
Nah, I fucking doubt it.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
You can always hope, right?
Yeah, I can always hope.
Okay, so all right, so we hit crypto. We hit Doge.
Which is all speculative, by the way. We don't know shit.
Oh, 100%.
We don't know
Do
shit.
not take any of this as investment advice.
No, don't go out and buy XRP, lose your ass, and then
Right.
fucking throw that shit at my feet.
Yeah.
If you don't have the money, stay the fuck out of it.
Nico is a jester.
And Shane is a clown. So we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. You know what I mean? I'm closer to the king. He's closer to the circus.
You're such an asshole.
What are you talking about?
Okay, so all right, so we hit some of the geopolitics and everything. What else do you have to throw out here about?
Dude, I gotta be honest. We talked about Trump, expansion in Western Hemisphere, America's dominance coming back, crypto, Musk.
Oh, you know what? There was something else I wanted to say about Musk is oh yeah. So it's really interesting when you look at Musk and then you also look at someone like Mark Zuckerberg too.
Oh, he pussied out, huh?
Well,
he pussied right on out. That's a Benedict Arnold motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
He saw the tides a changing and he jumped fucking ship.
So this is the interesting thing about Mark Zuckerberg. Remember, I don't know if you remember this, but like about 4 years ago, there was an article that came out in, I think it was the Atlantic, which the Atlantic is owned by Steve Jobs' widow.
Did not know that.
I forget what her name is, but she's super far to the left.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Shocking, right?
Yeah.
But so the Atlantic, they were writing they wrote several articles at that time and that they were publishing, and they were saying that working out and dieting were signals of somebody who had become super far right wing, like dangerously right wing.
All right.
Like right wing, like proto fascist. And then a couple years after that article came out, Mark Zuckerberg started doing like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and he started working out heavy duty and everything. And remember, he used to be like a scrawny little guy, looked like a lizard, you know. Now he's a buff guy that's got like longer hair. He still kind of looks like his face. He still kind of looks like a lizard. I think he always will.
Nerd, dude. What are you talking about?
But the thing is, like, I mean,
he still looks like a nerd.
You compare him now to the way he was like 5 years ago, and he's definitely more masculine.
No, he looks like. Have you seen the way he dresses now too? He looks like a fucking like 90s like dude, like a white guy that's really into rap.
Well, you know what? That might be what his idea of being masculine is.
I imagine it is because the world he grew up in.
Yeah, because
what's he, about 10 years older than us?
In his day, Coolio was the big deal.
Coolio, yeah.
But so he but it's really interesting. He was on Joe Rogan last week or the week before, and spoke and he was talking all about like how he loves the UFC now. And he loves doing like jiu-jitsu fighting and like boxing and stuff and everything. And he's super into working out and stuff. And in many ways, that's kind of been a gateway drug to him becoming just
dude. Facebook's pulling out of California. They're going to Texas.
And you know Facebook has named Dana White the chairman of the UFC.
I know he is, yeah.
Yeah, and he introduced Trump at the Republican convention this year. Facebook has named Dana White as a new member of their board.
Really?
Yes. And the whole reason that they're trying to do this is they want to make their company structurally, they want to put people on their board that are against censorship. And you know,
the tides have changed.
Yes.
They're going to rebrand themselves as some free speech, fucking super conservative fucking company. That's why I said he's a Benedict Arnold motherfucker. Don't buy into his bullshit. Dude, this guy's a fucking scrawny little rat. I'm telling you. He was fucking... For the last 10 years, this guy's been one of the biggest pains in America's ass. He sat around and he was like, oh my God. Dude, I got canceled because...
Facebook basically committed suicide, right? Over the past 5 or 6 years.
I know you and I talked about this. I posted a meme that was anti-Presidente H. Right? It was making fun of him. Okay? I'm not fuck Mark Zuckerberg. I posted a meme about 8 years ago, don't quote me, that was anti-presidential H. And I wake up the next day and it goes, hey, you're in jail. You don't have access to Facebook. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, why? And I saw it and it was like because you posted this meme and it showed it. I'm like, it was anti-Presidente H. And then I was like, okay, whatever. I spent 3 days in jail. Bygones be bygones. I was like, fuck it. Never had a problem with Facebook. A year later, their algorithm popped it up on my feed and memories, and they threw me back in jail.
And they're like, you can't say that.
They're like, you can't say that. I'm like, I fucking did it. They posted it. They didn't even post it. It fucking popped up in my memories of shared, and they threw my ass back in jail. So I fucking start typing away, and I'm like, what the fuck? And they're like, well, you can't post hate speech. And I'm like, first of all, read the fucking meme, okay? It's talking shit about H, and I didn't post that. You guys did. And they're like, sorry, it is what it is. I'm like, can you guys please remove it? And they're like, we can't.
They're like, the technology doesn't exist.
They're like, we can't remove it. And I'm like, so every year on this anniversary, I'm just going to go to jail?
And it's happened every year since, hasn't it?
And lo and behold, only for 4 years. For 4 fucking years, it was like a damn anniversary. I would just wake up and I was in fucking Facebook jail. Because they posted it. Dude, I feel like I was taking crazy pills. So I'll never like that little lizard rat fuck. I don't care how much UFC he watches or how many badass cool dudes he gets on his fucking board. He's a dude, I don't trust him as far as I can throw him.
Oh, I never said I trusted him.
Dude, he's a little fucking weasel. He even looks like a weasel.
And you want to know something? I have a lot of family members that have been put in Facebook jail. And even that have been kicked off the platform too.
A little fucking weasel.
I've never been suspended from Facebook. I've never had an issue with that. But you know, truthfully, I stopped posting things on there that were controversial, like probably 15 years ago.
Who even goes on Facebook?
You want to know who? Boomers.
Dude, fuck Facebook.
The only people who go on Facebook and try to like share their thoughts with the world are boomers. That's it.
And that's the thing. And you remember, like, I was real heavy into Instagram. Probably
the same shit will happen to you on Instagram.
Well, when Instagram first came out, all the way up till about probably, to be honest with you, probably about 3 years ago. Probably about 3-4 years ago. Instagram was where I lived.
Well, the thing is,
I don't even go on Instagram anymore. It's a fucking shitty anything Meta owns fucking sucks balls.
Yes. Well, and you see, that's the reason that Meta is they
have to rebrand.
They basically had lightning in a bottle up until they started censoring everybody off their platform.
Then we left.
Yep.
So and
then everybody left, and now they're trying to figure out how to get lightning back in the bottle. But the problem is, now that Facebook and Instagram have been associated with censorship, that's the first thing that comes into most people's minds now. Whenever you hear Facebook, whenever you hear Meta, whenever you hear Instagram, you think of censorship, right? So now people have moved to places like TikTok. People have moved to Twitter. You know, if
Twitter died and came back,
yes,
because they're like, hey, man, freedom.
In fact, Mark Zuckerberg, when he was being interviewed by Joe Rogan, said that they're getting rid of the third party the third party
checkers.
Yeah. They're totally getting rid of the third party fact checkers, and it's all being replaced with community notes, modeled basically ripped off of Twitter.
Yeah, he's going to rip everything off of Twitter because it's
Yeah.
working. And do you remember, this is what I love about our society, dude. You remember when Elon Musk is like, I might buy it, I might not. And then he bought it and he like gutted it and it ran just as effectively. And then everyone was like, he's losing money on it. Ha 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 ha. Fucking X sucks ball. Or I'm sorry, what was it? Twitter? And then,
Twitter.
and then he renamed it X. And they're
Yep.
like, it sucks balls. No one uses it. Was fucking awesome. And it's back. And everyone loves it now. Dude, you know what I love about it? All these people that just fucking disgust me. I've said this publicly, and I'll say it till the day I die. I don't like Republicans. I do not like them.
Yeah.
But I despise, they disgust me, liberals. Like, they make me feel ill. Like, I want to throw up in my fucking mouth. So, like, I don't like Republicans. I'm like, Jesus, how do people think like this? Like, what are you guys doing? And I can get in a debate with them, but it's not even fucking close. I look at liberals. I'm like, they're not even people.
Well, you know
They're
what
emotional fucking meatbags.
Well, you know what I think the difference is, though, is that the most boomer Republican that's out there, at least they're being honest with you.
Yes.
You know? But the thing is, liberals, they're all inconsistent. They're hypocrites.
They're not even honest with themselves.
Right, because the thing is, they'll be sitting there talking to you about how you should be hostile. You should be hostile toward working class people. You know, and then you know, like for instance, what they'll say is, well, what we need to do is ban gasoline cars. We need to ban cars that run off of gasoline and that put out fossil fuels. We need to move everything to electric vehicles. That's the future. And it's like, who the fuck made you like the Führer Nostradamus, where you're going to dictate what the future holds for the rest of us? Who the hell elected you to that position? You know, and they're sitting there trying to ram the whole electric car thing down your throat just because it's some idea that makes them feel good somewhere in their body.
Dude.
And the thing and then if you question them, if you say to them, well, I don't like the idea of electric vehicles because what happens if the power grid goes down? Or I don't like electric vehicles because our current power grid can't handle them. You know, and it's not necessarily the best thing for a place like America that's so spread out. Electric vehicles might work great in somewhere like Europe where it's just like a bunch of little villages and stuff and they're all insignificant people. You know, so all right, so you and then if you criticize something like electric vehicles, or if you call into question their narrative of climate change, they will look at you and they'll say, well, you disagree with me because you're a racist. You disagree with me because you're not college educated.
You disagree with me because you're a science denier.
Right. And this is the thing. The most boomer Republicans who will still to this day defend the invasion of Iraq, you know, they'll be like, well, you know what? He didn't have WMDs, but I don't like Saddam Hussein.
I don't like his mustache.
Yeah, I don't like his mustache, and I'm glad we went in there because you know what? We brought democracy to Iraq. And you know what? They believe that. They actually believe that.
Yes, but the other ones, dude, they're so self-righteous and so...
Yeah.
There's no other word for it. They're so cunty, dude. They don't even subscribe to their own panhandling bullshit. They don't. They just say it because it's just fucking. It's just they're just ear fucking you.
Have you ever seen the pictures of the women that were pushing for prohibition, like right after World War I? They were like older women that would have the slick back hair.
Yeah.
That they'd be wearing like the long dark dresses, and they would always have the little like Coke bottle. They would always be wearing the little Coke bottle glasses, and they were always frowning and angry, and they were always like waving their hands in the air and stuff. To me, that captures the spirit of the modern left and the entirety of the woke movement. You know, they're a bunch of self-righteous hypocrites.
Like if you're
they're all rich too.
And I agree with you. Like if you're having fun, they come into the vicinity of wherever fun is, and they're like, let's make it not that way.
Yep. They want to bring politics into everything.
Yeah, let's just make it not that way. It doesn't matter what it is. If there's a good time somewhere, they're like, how can we make it not that way?
And you know what? And that's another thing. Boomer Republicans, they don't have to make everything political.
No.
You know what? Like an hour ago, they'll be talking about how they would just want to blow up everybody in the Middle East except for Israel. But then like an hour later, they're not thinking about that anymore, and they're chowing down on a hot dog, drinking beer, and watching football.
Exactly. And dude, these fucking super left liberals, they're just like they it's almost like there has to be misery or discomfort or discontent for them to even be involved in the thing. But they don't, like you said, they don't fucking believe it.
Right.
They're just bullshitting.
Well, the thing is, because
and you can tell when they do believe it real quick. When they fully buy in, they crack and they become crazy.
right.
It's the ones that like dye their hair fucking all kinds of colors. They've transcended into weirdos. You know what I'm talking Dude, you know what I'm talking about, dude. They'll like 90,
talk to crystals
they'll
and
have
stuff,
like 90
and-
piercings, and they're like, I just went around and I have my flex crystal, and what that does is when the sun's in its third cycle and the moon's over here and they send beams and fuck each other, it sends it to my crystal, and I get energy from that. Like they transcend, and that's when you know, at least at that point, you're like, they're bought in because they fucking snapped.
Don't you also think a big part of that is that they've got too much money and too little purpose,
Dude? Sometimes
in their lives? Like they're just look. You're not going to find a whole lot of broke people doing that kind of shit. You know.
No, that's what I'm saying.
The people you're going to find doing that, they're going to be people that have no purpose, and they got
no
too much
direction.
damn money, and they
No
got
direction.
and they got too much money.
They're all emotionally fucked up.
Yes.
All of them. They're all emotionally fucked up. And you're right. And it's usually people, they can't, it's like they have to meet certain criteria before they can transcend. And then once they do, it's always the ones that are like, well, I got rid of my gas car and I have this electric vehicle because I'm doing my part.
Right.
I want to slap them right in the mouth.
because I'm a self-righteous prick.
Because I'm a self-righteous
Yeah.
fucking prick. And they're the same people. They're like, well, if everyone, we've actually used this line before. I know we have, and I've used it several times since in private conversations with people. They're the same people like, well, we could just solve all the problems if everyone would just get electric cars.
Right.
And my retort's always the same. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking genius, dude. You have to go and you got to talk Daddy Trump and just tell him that. And while you're at it, just be like, we can solve homelessness if all of them just buy homes. What a fucking thought, dude. What a fucking critical thinker this guy is.
Yeah.
They never take their idea and stretch it past anything. You remember that guy that we used to stretch as kids? What was his name? Stretch Armstrong?
Stretch Armstrong.
You remember you could just take him?
His dog too.
Yeah, what the fuck ever, dude. They just take him out of the box and they never stretch him. They're like, this is my idea. And it's just a flabby fucking sack of nothing. Because it has no substance.
Well, and you see, and that's
They
it.
never try it against any points.
Well, and you know that really gets to the heart of it is that the easy thing is to hold to an idea. You know, the difficult thing is to actually act and do, which is fundamentally human. Yet, you know, like if they really want to make the world a better place, go to the grocery store, pick up some food, and take it to a local food bank. If you got a little bit extra time, go volunteer your time at a soup kitchen. Go volunteer your time at a food bank. Go volunteer your time somewhere. You know, and the thing is, if you don't happen to have time, if you don't have the time to volunteer, take a little bit of money that you got. If you got a little extra money or something, give it to people that are helping other people in your community, or just go and pick up groceries yourself. Like I said, take to a food bank or something. But the thing is, what these people want to do is they want to be self-righteous based upon their ideas that are based on no action whatsoever.
None. And here's the thing.
And the only reason that they give a fuck about an electric vehicle is because it's a status symbol.
Exactly. And just right off the cuff, like if you don't know, like you can't miss these people, but if you just want to see like if they even pass the eye test, so you don't want like, oh fuck, I shouldn't engage this person in conversation because they're crazy. right? They might not have transcended yet, but they're fucking trying. They're in that world. Some flags to go off of. If someone dyes their hair a color that's not natural, probably a crazy. Fuck it. I'm gonna lay it all out right here. Probably especially if they're a woman. It's unfortunate. If they dye their hair a crazy color or multiple colors, they're fucked up. If they're super, super into cats, probably a fucking weirdo. Just stay away from them. If someone's like, I have lots of cats, I love cats, cats suck, I don't care what anyone says, probably a fucking weirdo. Especially if they're a guy and like cats, stay the fuck away from them. They have emotional damage. If they're a vegan, stay the fuck away from them. Yeah. They're probably fucked up, have emotional damage. These are just facts. There's several others. I actually, you know what? I'm gonna write an article.
Oh, you know what? Just make a list, and in one of our upcoming podcasts, we can address the list.
I'm gonna have a list. It's gonna be the top 25. I'm gonna use their word. I'm using their word. I'll play their own fucking game. 25 red flags to stay away from. Dude, I dare I say it? Psychopaths. Stay away from fucking psychopaths. 25 red flags to stay away from complete fucking weirdos. And then I'll even have one when they do transcend. You can't miss those fuckers. Because they are loud and proud. And they let you know what a piece of shit you are. Just stay away from them, dude. Don't even talk to them. I've always been like, well, we should talk. Hear both sides. Don't. Stop. Just stay the fuck away from these people. They don't have anything to say. Well, and lots of words, no substance.
And you know, this is the thing. The modern day liberal that's obsessed with like electric vehicles and status symbols and everything and just ideas, they're very different from the old school like hippies from the 60s and early 70s who were really into like launching the farmers market movement. And we're like they truly believed in what they stood for, and they actually did it. Like,
you mean actual fucking change?
Yes.
Like classical liberals that took action?
Like they would actually like grow their own food. And
I shouldn't have said classical liberals.
They would actually grow their own food. They would actually go make friends with local farmers and stuff. Yes. And they had organic. They had bee farms and organic honey that they'd panhandle to you. They would go and move somewhere where like downtown places were walkable, so that they didn't have to use their car very much because they believed in reducing pollution.
You mean actually inconveniencing themselves to what subscribing to their own not bullshit. Sorry, subscribing to their own edicts, if you will,
making their ideas and actions one. You know,
and those two things, like you said, their ideas and their action actually hand in hand, because that's how you're supposed to do it. Dude, yeah, it fucking drives me crazy. It's insane. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and you know, ultimately, man, I think that the modern kind of like center left liberal, they're a dying breed, and they were overwhelmingly defeated in this most recent election, and for them, politics is the ultimate. It is the ultimate measure of all things, because ultimately, down to their core, their obsession is with power. Ultimately, I mean, that's what it all comes down to. That's why they're obsessed with politics, is because politics is the ultimate game of power, you know, and the accumulation of power and everything. Because for them, they're not interested in acting, in bringing about the good through the way they live their lives.
That's why they don't like religion, because you're subservient in religion. And you're a servant in religion.
Yep.
They don't like that.
Yes.
They're like, fuck no.
Yeah, and that's the thing is religion demands you to live a certain way.
Correct. It holds you to a higher standard. Yep. So when people are spewing their shit, they walk the walk. Right?
Right.
When you're in a religious institution of any kind, right, usually you go and you feed the hungry. You go and you do Habitat for Humanity. I'm just picking an organization. I don't know. I'm not saying anything. You go build a house, right? You donate the most important thing in the world usually, which is your time.
Right.
Or financial resources. of some sort, and you become subservient to an idea that's higher than you in these
Right.
things, right? To make the world a better place. You actually walk the walk,
Right.
as you're talking the talk. These people don't. Like you said, it's all about power. It's all about status symbols. It's all about, well, the reason that I am so much fucking better than you is because I did this arbitrary thing that didn't change shit.
Well,
nothing.
And one thing you notice about them is that they're obsessed with the idea of degrees.
They love it.
You know, degrees and different certifications, and you got to have this certificate, and you got to have this license, and you got to do this paperwork to do this and that and the other, because it's all about status. That's what it's all about. And the thing is, it's not necessarily about their achievement as far as the status goes. It's about who's not in the club, so that they can look down on them.
Exactly. So, for instance, if you went and I went 4 years of college and whatever fucking useless degree I got on a certain subject, and you went and worked 4 years in that field, and you also read, let's say, I don't know, 300 books on the subject, right? And you've gone to 72 seminars where other people, experts in that field, talked about it, right? Like you're listening to podcasts, you've read the material, you've actually been in that field, right? But I have the degree in it. I will laugh at you because you did all that on your own time, right? But I'm the one that holds the degree that says that I am an expert in this field. So you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Right.
And you're like, well, that's not how the way the world works. You're like, I am obviously way more knowledgeable in this than you. But they don't care. If you're self-taught in any way, you piss off. Self-taught doesn't mean shit. I have a degree framed up here that says I'm smarter than you.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care that you read 10,000 fucking books. Doesn't mean shit. I'm smarter than you because I went to fucking college. Get the fuck out of my face with that.
And really, I think that encapsulates why there's been this building resentment against kind of like the woke kind of center left liberals, is that they punch down. You know, they love to joke. They love to make fun of like hicks, rednecks,
Love it.
Trump voters, people who didn't graduate, people who didn't get people who got a GED, or people.
Or God forbid they're in a trade,
Right.
Like something that actually fucking
Yep.
matters in this country.
They work with their hands or something.
A truck driver,
right.
an electrician, a welder. You know, these guys making 60, 70, 80,000, six figures, mid six figure jobs. That shit don't matter to them.
Right.
Because like you said, they work with their hands.
But the thing is, the way that they maintain their sense of value about themselves is by punching down and by looking down on other people. You know, and basically saying that like that the Americans who are not part of the elites are just dumb and fat and stupid and all this other kind of stuff. And then that makes them feel better about themselves. But in reality, they're living in a little bubble, and they're clinging to a dying ideology.
Let them fucking sink, dude.
And you know what? They are.
Let the pigs scratch where they please. And I can't wait. Dude, I'm so glad the pendulum's swinging, because maybe they'll get slapped in the mouth with a little bit of reality, and they can kind of find that middle ground again. Because like I said, these super alt left, they've even, like, we've had this conversation, they've pushed people that are like what you think a liberal should be or a Democrat should be, and they've pushed them almost center to where some of them are like, they're like, dude, I feel like a fucking Republican now. They've pushed me so far away because they're delusional.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is, in order to be accepted into the like the whole center left crew, you have to believe that this very, very rigid form of doctrine that said, you know, like you have to like believe in like white privilege, and you have to believe in like smashing the patriarchy, and you basically have to believe in overturning all of our cultural norms. You have to believe in like destruction of the family and all this other kind of stuff. If you reject one core tenet of their whole system of beliefs, they will reject you.
You're out.
But the thing is, the Republican Party under Trump, if you only agree with 10% of what the MAGA movement believes, they'll be like, "Come on in, buddy, come on
over, brother."
And that's the reason so many people are migrating over. Yes,
and that's why he fucking won.
Are you familiar with Anna Kasparian? Do you know who she is?
I do not.
She's a an anchor with the Young Turks.
Does she sit next to the kind of heavier set guy?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I know who she is. I do know who she is.
Cenk Uygur is the founder.
Can't stand that fucking guy.
Okay, yeah. Well,
I do not like him.
I'm not a fan of his.
Don't like him.
But she used to be a super far left wing liberal, and the Young Turks are based in Southern California. Well, think about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, she had a big. She had a big philosophical shift in the way she views the world. And, she lives in Southern California. She went out, she was taking her garbage out one evening, I think.
Are the Young Turks more middle of the road?
No, they're super far left wing, like
super liberal, right?
They're like Bernie Sanders, Democratic Socialists.
Okay, I didn't know if they had like a panel where it was kind of different, because I thought one of them was kind of more the middle of the road.
They bring, in all fairness to them, they bring conservatives and libertarians.
Okay, maybe I saw one of their guests then, because I know he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, but the thing is, in all fairness to Cenk Uygur, he will basically debate anybody that's willing to talk to him. Mm-hmm.
I've never seen him win a debate.
Me neither.
Dude, he is. Dude, you know what? Good for him.
You want to know who reminds me of him? You know what I'm going to say?
I don't.
Sebastian. I mean, do you disagree?
Dude, next question, dude.
Okay. So
I've never seen that guy win a debate. Dude.
I stand by what I said.
He just brings people on, gets his ass whooped,
I know.
and then just moves along.
But the thing is, he'll do it again too. In fact, he'll
with the fucking smile.
He'll even challenge them to another debate.
He'll bring
and then
them
lose
back
that too.
And get
Yeah,
his ass kicked the second time.
dude, and that's the thing.
Oh, I needed that.
And that's the thing. I've known Sebastian a long time. You've known Sebastian even longer than I have.
Can take an ass whooping.
Yeah, dude. But you know what though? That's been his way of life his entire life.
Good
man.
for him, man. Good fucking strong, dude.
But so the thing about Anna Kasparian is, I think it was one evening she was. I think she was taking her garbage out. She said, and she got essayed by a homeless man.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. She got essayed by a homeless man. Like I think she said that. Like I think she said that he like I don't know to what degree it was, but like it was like one or two. It was either one homeless man or it was two homeless men. I don't remember what it was, but they cornered her outside of her house and essayed her. Mm-hmm. And then that precipitated her.
Like full?
Yeah, because at that time she was in favor of like
grape, full grape.
That I don't know to what degree it was.
Okay.
But the way she describes it is that it was an essay. Mm-hmm. And so
in Southern California, I just assumed you're talking about a Mexican fellow down there, dude.
Well, this was probably a homeless guy or homeless people on drugs, No,
because you keep saying SA.
Oh, okay.
And I just keep seeing it. You're like, it's Southern California.
SA? Yeah.
I'm like, there's just a Mexican gentleman down there.
Yeah, but she so she went out and that happened.
That's
and then,
so disgusting.
And then she ended up calling the police or something, and nothing happened.
That's fucking insane.
And I think she even knew who it was, and the police didn't do anything.
Those guys should be
well. I mean, the culture down there is super woke, and everything. And this all caused her to totally rethink everything. And she thought to herself, I'm no longer in favor of like abolishing the police department. I want a police department, not a tyrannical one, but I want one that can be effective at protecting me.
Yeah.
And also too, it got her thinking like, maybe it's not a good idea to have a bunch of homeless people living outside of my house. And it got her to start thinking about the world in a different way.
It's unfortunate that had to be the catalyst to do that, but yeah.
she's not a boomer Republican now, but she describes herself as being a moderate.
So I was going to say, she's probably more middle of the road now.
She is.
Because unfortunately these grandiose ideas sound great on paper, and then when there's real world consequences, which that's absolutely disgusting that happened, but when there's real world consequences and they're experienced, nothing matters on paper anymore.
Right. When
there's tragedy and sadness and hurt, and when those things are experienced, especially to either ourselves or someone we love, reality sets in, and it doesn't matter what sounds good anymore. Reality starts setting in, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, this challenges my whole belief system. Mm-hmm. And you realize real fast that it's like a piece of paper when you drop it in water. You're like, it has no structure. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, you can you can pull it apart like it's nothing. Yeah, that's very unfortunate. I still don't like that guy though. Holy shit! Is she still on the Young Turks?
Yeah, she is.
Why are they called the Young Turks? They're not fucking young. That guy's like 55, isn't he? Did he start it when he was young?
Yeah, they the Young Turks started when it actually started. I think in the early 2000s. Opposing,
was he young then?
Yeah, he was young back then. Like I think he was in his 30s or late 20s back then.
Okay.
And it was
that would have made this long ago.
and I think it was he and his brother, and they were opposed to like the war in Iraq. They were opposed to the Patriot Act.
Okay, shit, I
then.
could get behind.
Yeah.
So I probably would have liked Young Turks back then.
But remember, that was back when Democrats were
Democrats?
That was back when Democrats were anti-war. That was back when Democrats were pro-civil liberties, like opposed to things like the Patriot Act and everything. I mean, remember back then,
back when Democrats were like free speech is great.
Because remember back then, like I'm digging back to like 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007. Remember back then, Democrats treated us better than Republicans did.
Yeah, dude, Republicans fucking hated you and I.
Yeah, because remember back then, Republicans would be like, "What do you mean you don't support the war in Iraq? You
love terrorism?
Yeah,
are you a terrorist?
Yeah, in fact, I remember one time being told, well, if you're not going to stand behind if you're not going to stand with the troops, you can stand in front of the troops. When these colors don't run, and stuff like that.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on? What are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
I was like, I just don't want people to die for nothing.
But
you know what I mean?
But at least those bloodthirsty boomer Republicans, at least they're being honest with us.
And guess what? They've stayed fucking consistent.
Yes, they have. Yeah.
They stayed consistent.
Yeah.
They never moved the fucking goalpost.
No, and you know what? It's those boomer Republicans, they're the same ones that love the war in Ukraine right now.
They love it. Dude. They fucking can't get enough of it. They're like, yeah, Ukrainians. Woo! They're fucking all about it, dude.
It reminds me of it reminds me of Mike Pence when during the Republican primary this year or last year. Tucker Carlson interviewed Mike Pence and pretty much which Mike Pence was only polling at like less than 1%. So he
Does
didn't even
like him?
No, dude, nobody with a brain likes Mike Pence. But
he's probably done politically, in mainstream.
Completely done.
Yeah, I imagine he's going to retire.
Tucker Carlson was interviewing him at some big event, and Tucker Carlson said to him, "Well, okay, okay, Mike, I want to know something about your take on what's happening in the world right now, in the sense that when you go into a lot of the downtown areas of major U.S. cities, they look like
like war zones.
Yeah, many of them look like war zones. Many of them look like the cities in Germany and Japan at the end of World War II,
or like the Eastern Bloc in Europe. Like, dude, they're like shithole, war-torn, fucking.
They're really bad. And when Tucker Carlson said to him, "Well, how do you reconcile that with your endless support for the war in Ukraine, where your whole idea is it's basically a blank check to Ukraine. Mm-hmm. We'll give them as much as they need, whatever they need, and we'll just keep on doing it." But then Mike Pence's position with these American cities that are just being destroyed, Mike Pence's attitude was, well, just we just need to let them sink or swim on their own, and And Tucker Carlson, in asking him that question, it pretty much ended his public career. Because especially a lot of Americans our age, we've seen America really steadily decline into like a country of people that are where like you can't go get a good job anymore, where you earn enough money that you can afford to like where you could where you could afford to support a whole family off of your single income. And where you could afford to like have a boat and have like 2 cars and everything, and live in a really and buy a house off of one income. That's not the world we're living in now,
dude.
You know?
I remember like
and a lot of people are hooked on drugs, and they're not hooked on the fun kind of drugs.
A lot of guys
they're
used
hooked
to
on the drugs that destroy you, like that make your teeth fall out.
Yeah, a lot of guys used to have like 2 cars. You remember that?
Yes.
Like when we were growing up,
yeah,
like most dads had like they had their car.
They would have like a hobby car.
And then a fucking hobby car.
Yeah.
Dude, like every dad in the world had some badass hobby car because they couldn't let go of the 70s and 80s. And they were like, dude, I got my fucking Camaro something out there, and it was usually a piece of shit, you know what I mean? But they had it, and they could drive it around. They had their main car, and they bought the mama car, and then they would like fucking buy the kid their first car. You remember we had a house. You said like the boat, right? Dude, are you fucking kidding me? Dude, most of the people, especially Gen Zs, I look at them, they can't even afford a fucking apartment.
Right. And the thing is, the reason that they can't afford an apartment, the reason the reason Gen Z can't get a job where they can afford to live in a shitty apartment by themselves, they have to live at the good paying jobs that Gen Z can get. The only apartments they can afford are shitty apartments, and they have to have like 2 roommates. And you know?
But that's not fair because that is a big age difference. We're talking about people that were in families to Gen Z, so you need to compare it to millennials. Okay, because that would be the age that we're talking about.
So this is the thing: millennials, we didn't have it anywhere as good as the boomers did,
and we don't have all that shit,
right? But this is the thing: if you were a millennial, you could go and get like an entry level full time job, and you could afford a shitty apartment, and you could afford to live there by yourself,
in a shitty apartment.
It might have been pretty tight monthly. Like, you know, there might have been some months where you were like, I'm not going to. I've got to be really careful. I've got to eat like beans and stuff for a couple of nights.
I'll go out with my friends, but I'm not ordering an entree.
Right? Yeah. But the thing is, for Gen Z, they're living in a shitty apartment. They got like 2 or 3 roommates, and they can't even afford to get an entree.
No, they're eating like top fucking ramen, dude.
Yeah,
like all the time,
dude. That's like in a good month. they're gonna eat like the ramen is what they're gonna treat themselves with.
Well, don't worry, Quicker Burger's coming, baby.
Yeah, but okay, so this is the thing. The reason that Gen Z are forced to live really the reason Gen Z are being so financially squeezed is that so much of the treasure of this country was pissed away on the adventure into Afghanistan, the adventure into Iraq, on building out this big national security state so that the government can hoover up all of our text messages and emails and listen to all of our phone calls and everything like that. It was pissed, and there's no ROI on any of this stuff.
Any of it.
This does not. None of this shit made our country any more productive. We didn't even steal the oil from Iraq.
No, dude.
We just blew we just went, killed Saddam and tried to bring them democracy. And they don't even want democracy over there. They still don't want it. You know? But the thing is that because we blew all of this country's treasure on all this bullshit over there, and we blew it on. And I mean, really, the boomers were the ones that were in charge. And you know, you can lay the blame at the feet of a lot of the boomers.
They didn't give a fuck. They had all their shit.
And so this is the thing I say is, for anybody complaining about the U.S. taking the Panama Canal back, or for anybody complaining about the U.S. going and stealing Greenland or something, well, guess what, baby? The boomers pissed all of our treasure into doing shit that doesn't matter. That was a net loss for this country. At least the stuff that the Trump administration's going after would have a positive ROI for the country.
Net wins, baby.
Yes.
Dude, we're bringing it I
Yep.
feel it. We're gonna feel good to be Americans again.
Yes.
Like we're gonna look at the world stage, and they're gonna be like, "Well, you guys just," I'll say it right here publicly, timestamp. They're gonna be like, "Well, you guys just think you're the fucking best." Yes, we are. Correct.
Well, and also too, the question I would have is, who's saying that? Are you French? Are you German?
Yeah.
Are you Portuguese? And you're saying that?
Yeah.
The answer is overwhelmingly yes.
Yeah.
We are better.
Last time I
Yes.
fucking checked, back-to-back world champions, baby.
Yep.
The fucking best. And for everyone that's like, oh, they're this, they're that, they're this, why you all coming here? Why do you all want to come here? I don't see any of you moving down to fucking who gives a fuck, Phil.
You listen. You want to know the one thing? The one thing I'll say the Europeans have all over us is their food culture
And monuments to the past.
Yeah, they're living in a giant museum, beautiful monuments to a once great culture over
and
there.
great food cuisine.
But this is the thing, they're that is one thing. They're very picky about their food, and that has kept them very, very healthy. That's one thing that Americans could really need to learn from the Europeans before the Europeans are all gone. Because and listen, I'm the only reason I say before the Europeans are all gone is they're having fewer kids than Americans are, and the Europeans are all being replaced. All of Europe is going to be there. The food culture of all of Europe in like 50 years is all going to be halal. It's all going to be the Muslim version of kosher. And look, and that's fine, and that's
Not
great.
in Poland.
Yeah. Not well. You know what? The Polish birth rates are right down there with Germany's and Italy's and France's and everything now.
Yeah, sure.
So the thing is, you know what? It'll be delayed in Eastern Europe by a little bit, but it's still the same problem all over there. So really, what we need to do as Americans with a country that has a future is we need to go over to Europe and we need to look at what their food culture is, and we need to bring it. We need to emulate it here, and that is what's so incredible about RFK Jr. Because RFK Jr. wants to make America healthy again.
Red dye gone.
Yep, exactly. The red dye's already gone, and that's just the beginning.
Fucking tip.
It's just the beginning.
Just tip, baby.
He's gonna get glyphosate out of our wheat. That guy's gonna go for the jugular. And in a good way.
Yeah.
Like your jugular is gonna have less plaque buildup in it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Because
nice
of him,
jugular,
yeah.
nice clean one.
Yeah, like a nice, clean French or Italian jugular. Yeah, that's nice and clean and healthy.
But not like the Irish jugglers where you guys have heart attacks.
Well, there is that.
Yeah.
There is that one
We don't need
county
to rehash it.
in Ireland that has that's the heart
attacks
attack
in the
capital
world.
of the world. Yeah,
That's correct.
that's one thing. But the Irish are the best storytellers in the world,
when
and
all you
the
eat is-
most popular restaurant in the world is
When all you eat is
what was started by a pair of Irish brothers.
when all you eat is potatoes and 4-leaf clovers, that's what happens, buddy.
Well, the only reason that the Irish had to start eating potatoes was because of the British ethnic cleansing and genocide,
correct.
which is how my family came to America.
Brother, that's a good podcast, dude.
Yes, it was. It was
Hey,
a lot
beautiful.
of fun.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
I'm really glad that we're back. This is
Back
our
in
first one in
action.
2025.
No, it's not.
And no, this is our first podcast in 2025. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, we're back, baby.
Yep.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
And we have a lot planned this year.
Yeah, we do. We're gonna we're gonna structure and do a lot more series.
Yes,
So they're gonna
yeah.
be topic based.
We're going to continue the series on feminism at some point. And then we have a lot of fun stuff planned.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I like the breakdown of how
Yep.
we're going. We're
And we got
finally
some
getting
guests
our
lined
vision, our
up.
structure. Yeah, beautiful guys. All right.
All right.
Love you guys. Take care.